we're here at the Vondelbunker, which is actually it's a nuclear fallout shelter, which was built in 1947. So if World War III breaks out, we'll be completely safe. So that's good to know. And yeah, it's here in the bosom of the beautiful Vondel Park in the center of Amsterdam. So yeah, woohoo, woohoo. And this here beside me is the organizer, Carroll. So maybe some of our viewers have like no idea what a game jam actually is. So maybe you could tell us what a game jam is.
Yeah, sure. A game jam is when people come together and maybe people they don't know very well and make games. Just really quick prototypes, and the idea is that the limited time and resources and everything mean that you'll come up with something more creative. But today, this weekend, is the Global Game Jam, which is an organized game jam all over the world. Most countries participate. And locations are set up where people all come together and they all make games at the same time. If you go to globalgamejam.com, then by the end there'll be hundreds of games available that follow a theme. That's the idea of it, and it's meant to bring people together who don't necessarily know each other very well, and make things that are new and try to expand the lexicon of different types of games you get in the world.
Yeah, it's super cool, and it's a jam in the sense of like it's like a music jam.
Yeah,
you get together and you make something you don't necessarily know what's going to happen.
Exactly. Yeah, you can think about you can imagine like jazz jams when musicians just come together and make something. And just see what happens. It's like that.
Yeah, it's free. It's like jazz.
Yeah.
Yeah. And tell us about your first game jam.
Oh man, my first game jam, not counting just making games with my partner, but the first game jam I did was in GDC last year. I was there for like 3-4 days.
Where's that? San Fran?
It's in San Francisco. Yeah. Oh no, it's not in the summer actually. It's in like the spring. I think it was in February or March when I went, and while I was in San Francisco I went to a lot of parties and I met these two really cool guys called Andrew and Porter, and we didn't know each other for very long but we hung out and we were having fun and stuff, and one night we tried to go to a party that was organized by Marcus Pearson, better known as Notch, the creator of Minecraft, and we thought like, oh, it's a cool party, let's go, and we went, and it was in this big was it like a concert building, and one of them estimated there were about 10,000 people waiting in line. You've heard of the line went across the street. This was across the street and into the next street. It was crazy. Right. And we were like, well, we're never going to get into this. This is really lame. And they were just like, fuck it, let's just make a game instead. It'd be much better. So they snuck me into their hotel room and we stayed up all night making a game which is called Watch Out for the Bears, which is a sequel to another game I made called Watch Out for the Bear. And we just stayed up all night, and then the next day was the only day I could get into GDC because I had a student card. So I was like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" Yeah. And we just stayed up all night, made a game, then went to GDC the next day, and I think the day after that I left. So.
It sounds like a great week. And or what? How long were you in San Fran?
I was in San Francisco for less than a week. It was probably like 3-4 days. It wasn't very long.
Still awesome.
It was so great.
Yeah. I'm gonna brag about my first game jam too.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Because my first game jam was actually in Japan, and it was super exciting. They put like all the internationals together, you know, the people who could speak English and stuff. And we had a few Japanese people in our team as well. It was really fun.
It was part of the Global Game Jam as well, wasn't it? That one.
Yeah, it was part of the Global Game Jam.
Right.
Yeah, it was in Fukuoka. Fukuoka. Yeah, it was really fun. Yeah, and it's really cool to be doing it again here in Amsterdam.
Yeah,
being at a game jam, it's wonderful. But of course, there is another organization that does game jams here in Holland. But some people call it lame jam because it costs 50 euros, and like that's expensive if you're a student. Oh, by the way, that sound. Sometimes trams go overhead here, by the way. It's part of the charm of this place. No, but 50 euros seems very expensive for something where you're supposed to just meet people and, you know, create a game. And I mean, what do you think of that?
Well, I mean, yeah. When I first heard about the Global Game Jam, then I understood that it was free. And if you click on the first 10 game jams on the Global Game Jam website, they're all free. So I was very surprised when I found out that it cost so much, and I can't afford that, and even if I could, I kind of wouldn't want to, because to me, like, I don't think that's the spirit of what a game jam is. A game jam to me is sneaking into someone's hotel room and making a game before you have to go to GDC the next day. And yeah, I thought that, and it turned out a lot of other people thought that as well. So since I heard it was 50 euros, I thought, well, somebody should do one that's free at the same time, so at least there's an option. People can go to that one, and some great games have come out of the Global Game Jam in Holland. One of my favorite games ever is Glitch Hiker, which was made a couple of years ago through it. But I'm not the only one who can't afford that and kind of thinks it's a bit funny. So, and then one day I just decided, well, if no one's going to do it, then why don't I do it?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what that thought is what's happening today. That's where this came from.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. And of course, this is the Warp Zone Game Jam, and Warp Zone has other events too. Like for example, last year you had the Warp Zone game art exhibition. Yeah, video game art exhibition, which is super cool.
It was in the bunker as well.
Yeah, it was here in the bunker, yeah. And you're doing another one this year, right, at the Free Fringe Festival, Amsterdam?
Absolutely, yeah. The Warp Zone was originally an art show as part of the Free Fringe Festival. And it's the Free Fringe Festival, the whole point is that all the events are free, as was this one. And I wanted to offer a platform because I know a lot of artists who make great stuff, but they have no platform and no place to show their work. So the idea was then making a platform where they can sell their art. I mean, you don't have to pay to get in, but if you want to buy the art, you can. And yeah, so originally it's an art expo, but then you have Warp Zone Free Jam in Amsterdam, which is a game jam. So it's kind of turning into a franchise, I suppose you could say. It's becoming multiple events rather than just one. And there will definitely be another one during the Free Fringe Festival. I think you can go to Free Fringe Festival Amsterdam, freefringefestivalamsterdam.com, and there'll be information there. We're also looking for submissions, so get in touch with me. Send an email to mollyheadycarroll@gmail.com if you're an artist and you have some game-related art that you'd like to exhibit. Send it to me, and you might be able to be part of it next year.
Ooh, the tram. And of course, Warp Zone is also a section on the Chibi channel now too.
That's right.
Yay! We've opened up into video games.
Yeah.
Which I'm very excited about.